This reading is for somebody in a very intense connection. If you're not in this connection now, perhaps you are going to be soon. I am feeling that for some who are going to find this reading. So this is either a reading to help you when this situation occurs, or this is something that is currently going on with you. And if you are not in an intense connection, if you don't see that in your future, well, Spirit's saying don't necessarily tune out of this reading, because those of you that this is coming in for, many of you are not going to be expecting it. What I'm feeling here is that within this connection, there's going to be a lot of challenges with communication, with understanding each other's perspectives. This person is really going to push you into a brand new way of seeing and viewing the world, viewing yourself, viewing your reality, and that is by design. This is a very divine union in the sense of the two of you are meant to rewrite the templates for human relationships. And there's our whole collectives who have this job, who have this mission. All right. So I know it sounds like a lot when I put it like that. You're not the only two people doing this. All right. It's not all on your shoulders, but you are part of the collective who is doing this. And what Spirit's bringing through is that as you connect with this person, one of your greatest tasks when they start to trigger you is going to be to identify, is what's being triggered within me my own, or is this a collective pattern or wound? And with Venus, as I'm recording this, moving into opposition with Chiron, we can really see this energy coming to a head. Just the other day, anybody who follows me knows that my days, linear time, I get so confused about it. So I'm not sure how many days ago it was. It might have just been yesterday. I was doing a little astrology yes, it was, because it was for Halloween, and there was a T-square going on with Venus moving into that opposition with Chiron and Eris and Aries. Venus is in Libra right now, with Jupiter in Cancer as the midpoint, or not the midpoint, the focal point of the T-square. All right, making 90-degree angles to each of these planets that are opposing each other. So that's bringing up a lot of these collective wounds. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that for those where you haven't met this person yet, that particular aspect isn't going to be relevant. But for those of you finding this reading who are going through this right now, that is triggering. You might notice that right now there's a little bit more of that energy. You're feeling that more acutely, this energy of being triggered by this person and these wounds coming up. And some of them you're like, is this even mine? Like, you could notice this, like, thought patterns, maybe paranoias or suspicions. We still have Mars in Scorpio, I believe, probably at least for a few more days here. Mars is going to be moving into Sagittarius, and that's going to be a much freer energy, a less heavy energy. Mars in Scorpio is very dynamic. He is a bit possessive. He's intense. He's focused. He's passionate. And these can be really good things when we channel them appropriately. And this connection, it is a beautiful connection that I'm feeling. But it is like, you have to really be on your A game, I almost want to say, in order to be able to sustain this connection. It has that, a lot of people, you're watching this, you're probably thinking of like the twin flame energy or dynamic. I don't always like to use that particular phrasing, because I think there's a lot of weird energy that's connected to that now in the spiritual community. Do with it what you will, but definitely a divine partnership that is meant to trigger each other's shadows in order to help the collective heal. So you can put whatever label on that feels good or comfortable to you. But that really feels like a lot of what this is. And so Spirit just really wants you to understand that a lot of this work that you're doing is collective work. It's not just your own personal feelings, energies, wounds, viewpoints. So you may find yourself playing those roles, right? Those masculine, feminine roles, regardless of who identifies as what, meaning who holds that essence the most strongly. Typically, the essence that we identify with the most, because we hold both, is the one that we identify with the most strongly. The one that is more of sort of the signature flavoring of our soul essence, I guess you could say. So continuing here, we have the moon in the first house. So there's a lot of this intensity here. we talked about Mars in Scorpio with the moon in the first house energy present in this reading. That has a similar intensity because Mars rules the first house. That is the Aries house, the I am house, the house of identity, the house of what I need, what I want, who I am. So there's a lot of this. I feel like one of the wounds that's being triggered for one or both of you right now has to do with knowing who I am, being afraid of losing myself in you, being afraid that if I compromise too much, I'm going to lose myself. And so one of the big challenges or opportunities we could say here is to really understand like what is a core trait or a core aspect of my being that is non-negotiable, and what are like little things that I could shift or change, right? Like where is compromise appropriate and where is somebody asking me to truly change who I am, right? Because there can be little things that we ask, like, I'm going to use really dumb analogies, right? But put the toilet seat down when you go to the restroom, us ladies, that's a big one for us. Nobody likes to fall into the toilet bowl at 3 o'clock in the morning when they get up to pee. Okay. And men will say this is ridiculous that this could possibly happen, but they've never tried to do it. You know what I mean? Or maybe you have, guys. Let me know in the comments, my masculines out there, if you have experienced this as well. Because there are times that men need to sit down too, but that's a whole different thing there. It's little things like that, right? That's not a core value that you're asking somebody to compromise. That's something that impacts you. That's more of like a little habit or something that they just weren't I almost wanted to say they weren't properly trained when it comes to toilet etiquette, right? Guys who have not spent a lot of time around women, this is typically where you see that. If they grew up in a house with a lot of women sisters, as well as a mother, like you'll be damn sure that they put the toilet seat down. So like that kind of stuff. Some of you, I feel like I'm picking up on the energy of somebody who might have just moved in with somebody or taken things to the next level. And now that's triggering a cascade of fears. And so Spirit is saying that like, while it is important to bring up these things and to notice where it is that we can, compromise for the other person, also make sure that you're not just picking out all these little things, like nitpicking kind of, just because there's like a deeper fear that you're not addressing that has to do with that energy of actually being afraid of commitment, being afraid of what happens if they see me for who I truly am. Ooh, that's going to be something for someone, right? You can't really, like, the masks come off when you live with somebody. Right? It's a whole different energy. It's a whole different beast with its own set of challenges and also gifts, right? So for somebody, they're going through that. Somebody too, I'm just feeling, look at where your moon is in your astrology chart, whoever I'm reading for, yours or theirs. If your partner is the one who tends to have these mood swings, the moon can really show us, as well as our Pluto placement, particularly when we have planets in the 4th house, which is the house of the moon, the Cancer house, 4th house, 8th house, 12th house, the soul, the houses of the soul, the water houses. And that moon placement itself can really show how we cycle through emotion. All right. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who has a lot of deep emotion, and it really is deeply impacted by the transiting planets, the energies. You might want to study astrology. If you want to learn more about this, you can book a reading with me. My information is in the places where you find the information, depending on where you're finding this reading. Right. So there is an energy of that might help you understanding your astrology, understanding their astrology, understanding how you deal with emotion. There's something here about really learning how you deal with emotion, and this person having that revealed to them as well, because maybe they never really got that reflected back to them when they lived alone, because they could just isolate and not have to deal with anyone. So it's like learning how to address that emotion with another person present. So that's going to be a big challenge coming up for somebody as well. There's so much more that we could dig into in this reading. If you want to go deeper, if you're really resonating with this, reach out to me and we can do a deeper dive. All right. I love you. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, this is a beautiful divine connection. It is worth the work that is asking to be put into this. All right. And it's going to be a game changer, a huge perspective shift for both of you. There's a lot of soul growth. There's like just these powerful, powerful shifts that your energy combined brings together for yourselves. And of course, as we said, for the collective as well.